Hey, we're cooking with gas here on the Jewcast.
Okay, careful using a phrase like that.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
Tradition!
Oh, shut up, Carl! Shut your goddamn Jew mouth! You people are why there's war in the Middle East!
Gekakken van Jan.
Nebbig.
Ver poepoepoe.
Vermischt.
Verkakt.
Vertut.
Verstonken.
Fartig.
Exactly.
You at Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
And away we go.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of American Jew. I'm Jonathan Randall.
I am Jordon Ferber.
And today we want to start talking about one of the biggest anti-Semites of all time,
Ford.
Henry Ford.
Yeah, built Ford tough.
Yeah, built Ford hating Jews, I guess. If you, I don't get it. If you are a Jew and you have a Ford vehicle, you got to rethink this. You got to get rid of it.
I know. I guess so Jews were not allowed to have Fords, Mercedes, BMWs, but Farfignugan is okay.
Farfignugan is okay now.
Apparently.
The Volkswagens.
Yeah.
Well, now they're okay. They weren't okay. We're going to get to that a little bit later on in the podcast.
Ford, yeah,
but let's talk about Ford and what a huge anti-Semite that he was. People don't realize it, but in I guess the 20s, Ford was like a huge celebrity. He was a big deal. Like, people really cared about him, and he hated Jews.
Yeah.
So apparently, he once had like a campfire with a bunch of friends, and his friends said that Ford said at this campfire that he attributed all the evil that happened in America to Jews and to Jewish capitalists. And he said that the Jews caused war, they caused outbreak of thieving and robbery all over the country, and they even caused inefficiency in the Navy, the Jews.
Oh, really?
The Jews were really busy wreaking havoc on the world. And, he bought a newspaper, the Dearborn Independent.
Right.
And he basically preached anti-Jewish propaganda through this newspaper. He said that there was a vast Jewish conspiracy that was affecting America. He had something that they put a volume up called The International Jew, basically about how just Jews were, doing bad stuff for everything. A lot came from like the Elders of Zion, which he printed up thousands of copies of too and distributed. We've talked a little bit about the protocols of the Elders of Zion. For those of you that don't know, it's a notorious forgery that originally came from Russia, and it was translated into English, and it basically talks about how there was this existence of like this international Jewish conspiracy, this like group of Jews that got together and basically kind of like planned the fate of the world, whether it was, when there was a financial catastrophe, whether it was war, that the whole world was controlled by like this Jewish cabal.
It almost feels like the opposite, though, to me. Don't you feel like they're like, if you think about, Henry Ford and Walt Disney and all these other captains of industry from that era, who it seemed to me were trying to get together to spread anti-Semitism, to push the Jews down.
I mean, Walt Disney was notorious for being an anti-Semite as well. But I don't think it wasn't like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs had some hidden anti-Jewish messages, even though some of those dwarfs did have big noses.
And they were, mining diamonds.
well, now you think about it. But but they did help out Snow White. They were kind of good. But no, I hear what you're saying. Like Ford, Disney, these were people that were controlling the world, that were, capital, that were in charge of huge industries, that were shaping America,
right. I mean,
shaping some of the biggest companies in the world. So who are these other, people that were controlling?
Like who?
I don't know.
How many Jews do you think were like in the Freemasons or, in the Elks Lodge? I don't
think there were any that I know of.
You go hang out at the Elks Lodge, and you want to make fun of yarmulkes, but you're wearing that fucking contraption on your head?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It's absolutely true. So yeah, I don't know where Henry Ford got his anti-Semitism from. I don't know if it came from, about the Jews killed Christ, if he experienced it when he was a child. But, the Dearborn Independent, other papers, because this was Ford's paper, like they picked up the stories and they spread it. They would put copies of this. When people bought Ford, when they would buy like a Model T car, they would have a copy in it,
Really?
Yeah, like the dealerships would put copies in it. The Protocols of Zion, which Ford, distributed and made thousands of copies of. People thought that like these were facts. They thought they were reading the news and not fiction because he was spreading it. He was like, a horrible place. And anything that Henry Ford did too was news. He was such a big deal.
I guess the Model T like didn't have an instruction booklet because it's just pretty basic.
It was very basic.
Yeah, it had like 2 buttons.
Yeah.
So you need to put something into the glove compartment.
Unfortunately, it was anti-Jewish propaganda. He had a national audience. So it was very dangerous. What he said, because he was pretty much like one of the like most popular Americans. To put it in perspective, it was like if the Kardashians today started Instagramming pictures of their ass that had anti-Jewish remarks on them. People would get involved.
That would definitely break the internet.
It would not be good. Hitler, he was a fan of Ford. He was inspired by things that Ford did. The Nazis gave like Ford an award. Ford is the only American mentioned in Mein Kampf.
Is that right?
Yeah. Ford was like a horrible guy for the Jews. I don't know why. He just like was anti-Jews. He was about, the cars. He was about, the assembly line, right?
The assembly line.
But he was against the Jewish people. But Ford, I still think, I know they have a museum about Ford, and they wanted to like take out, like erase that he was an anti-Semite and not let people know him. But this is like a huge part of his life.
The worst part about the Ford Museum, good luck finding a coupon for a discounted entry. Not running any promotions.
You're not going to find that.
You're going to pay full price to come in and listen to this anti-Semite.
So again, if you're driving a Ford, you might want to rethink that.
Yeah.
And you might want to think of maybe trading it in for a Volkswagen.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know which one gets better gas mileage.
Well, Herbert Diess, I don't know how you say his name. He's the CEO of Volkswagen, and he's saying that, with the rise of anti-Semitism, that he thinks his company has even more of a responsibility now to stop anti-Semitism. His company was kind of built up by the Nazi regime.
Right.
I didn't know this, but did you know that Volkswagen sells more cars than anyone else in the world?
Well, they own a lot of other lines now. I think they own like Rolls-Royce or Bentley. Don't they make the Bentleys?
I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about cars, but they sell more than anywhere in the world. And now, he wants to stop. There's so much anti-Semitism going on in Germany, across Europe. I mean, there's so much going on in Germany that they're telling Jews not to wear yarmulkes because they don't want them to become the victims of anti-Semitism. And part of the things he's doing to try to help stop anti-Semitism or raise awareness how anti-Semitism is bad is returning the Anti-Defamation League to Europe, which apparently hasn't as a presence in that continent since the year 2000.
Are they putting any of this information on the sticker price, like on the sticker on the car or in the glove box? Are we getting that?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think they're having the manual. Or they're not hiring Mel Brooks to be the spokesperson for Volkswagen. But, one thing that I thought it was interesting that I guess what this Anti-Defamation League wants to do, and I think this is relevant, is, that they're raising attention to how Trump kind of uses ambiguous language to conceal the truth or avoid like committing himself when it comes to condemning violence by white supremacists. He did so both after Charlottesville massacre. He did so, of course, it wasn't anti-Semitic, but it was anti-Islam, the mosque shooting in New Zealand. And this is crazy that this is something that the Anti-Defamation League wants to take care of, that under Trump, the Department of Homeland Security has shut down initiatives to track right-wing extremism. It's crazy that I don't know why. I think it's because he wants to get those votes and he's kind of pandering to those people. And a lot of people get upset about this because like Trump loves Israel and Trump loves Jews. He's on the side, but he's kind of playing both sides. Trump is good for whatever is good for Trump.
Yeah, that's all that Trump cares
about. He hasn't come out and said what these right-wing assholes are doing is wrong, and he hasn't condemned them. And I think that's horrible. But I think I was reading that since 1986, Volkswagen has really tried to acknowledge what they've done, their past and being involved with the Nazis. And they feel bad for it. They're sorry. I guess they have paid over $2 million to underwrite some 10-year research project about, the slave labor that took place with many Jewish people that were building the cars. And this was, I thought, was interesting. They have apprentices that they have the option, their apprentices, to spend 2 weeks in Auschwitz as part of their training, where they learn about the Holocaust and they restore the shoes of the victims that are displayed at the site, that are pretty much the only physical traces of those people's existence. And over 4,000 apprentices have done this.
Wow. I also heard that Volkswagen they rewrote that old joke. You know the old joke, how many Jews can you fit in a Volkswagen?
No.
That's not funny.
It's not funny. I'm glad they rewrote it, and I'm glad they're taking some ownership. Ford cars should be doing the same thing. Instead of trying to erase the fact that he was an anti-Semite, they should be taking ownership and trying to do good. So kudos to the Volkswagen CEO. Anti-Semitism is on the rise. It's good that he wants to take a stand against it. More people need to do that. It's just crazy what's going on across Europe. I think I sent you that the picture of the newspaper where they had a cutout yarmulke and they were telling everybody to wear it in solidarity for other people. Like, it's crazy how much anti-Semitism is going on. And even other platforms are taking stands against it. YouTube. Right.
YouTube is going to ban all videos that deny the Holocaust. And spread disinformation about what has happened to the Jews.
Which is great. Apparently Facebook says they don't want to do that. But it's amazing that it should. The Holocaust happened.
I mean, it's easier than starting your own platform called, JewTube.
It is. It's all dreidel videos.
Yeah.
It's, the Holocaust did happen. I myself have been to Auschwitz, participated in the March of the Living. It's a real thing. To people to deny it or just to say that it's just something that Jews do to gain sympathy through the world so they could get the state of Israel or we can manipulate it.
Now, let me ask you this.
Crazy propaganda.
You went to Auschwitz. Didn't you tell me there was a gift shop there?
There, unfortunately, is a gift shop.
There's a gift shop.
They sold Snicker bars at Auschwitz.
Oy.
I was not a big fan of that.
I mean, you're supposed to be
hungry. Why wait?
Yeah.
I don't know, because you're at Auschwitz. That's why.
All right, your joke was definitely better than the one I was thinking of.
I'm glad I got it in before you. But kudos to YouTube. I don't know what Facebook's problem is while they're letting this stuff be spread. I mean, it doesn't help. It's the same thing. People are stupid. They believe what they read. Just like they believe the Elders of Zion when Ford spread it back in the day. People are believing stuff that they read right now. And there's got to put an end to it, especially with, anti-Semitism happening all over. People walking into synagogues and murdering and shooting up people. Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The Jews have done a lot to contribute great things in this world, especially, to art and fashion and things that everybody enjoys, music.
Yeah. I think also, we are good arguers and debaters. I feel like, that as I've always talked about when we've gone through some of these Torah portions or talked about how the Jewish religion sort of pushes the idea of always questioning. I like that. That's one of the few parts that I like, even though the part of it that I like is not exactly what is meant by the questioning. Like, they really just want you to understand why you have to do all this, all this bullshit. But I think that I like the idea of questioning why we do all these things. And I think having a healthy debate, having an actual intellectual discussion about the disagreements that we have, the whole idea of agreeing to disagree because of the way we live our lives and what kind of cultures we come from, I think is a healthy way to negotiate some of the some of those topics, because we're never going to always agree on how you should live. But, let's not have a debate on how I'm going to die. Let's not do that.
No, for sure. I think one thing that we need to all agree on is that all life has value, and all, what people believe, they believe for different reasons. And, even if we don't agree with it, we should respect it. Just as committed as somebody is to their belief, other people are committed to their belief and they want to show respect. And, we're all children. I don't particularly believe in God, whatever we want to call it, the Big Bang. We're all stardust. We're all energy. We're all human beings. We all need to put aside our differences and focus on spreading love and compassion and not hate. And, I know we talked about this a little bit last week with, God had the 12 tribes of Israel. We don't need to keep finding ways to divide us as people. We need to find ways to bring us together.
Yeah. That's why I also like, the whole idea of people sending to plant trees in Israel.
Okay.
I like that whole initiative of people.
To plant trees in Israel. Yeah. I mean, plant trees everywhere, right? Not only in Israel. We need more trees. So plant trees. I planted a tree in Israel.
Oh, yeah? What kind of tree?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't know. Whatever tree they gave us. I guess I wasn't so into it.
I came to show off my green thumb. I just gave Jonathan a thumbs up.
He gave me a thumbs up. It wasn't a marijuana
I
plant.
forgot that this is an
I know
audio
that.
an audio only medium.
You guys can't see Jordan's wearing a matzo baller shirt right now.
I'm totally on brand.
He's really rocking it. I am not. I really got to step it up. Maybe we should get some American Jew yarmulkes made. Get some merch.
Yeah, have some American Jew.
Well, send us some emails. Let us know what you think. This week we're not talking about the Torah portion. Maybe you miss it. Maybe you want us to keep talking about the Torah portion. We're mixing it up a little bit after our first 18 episodes. This is the first in our next 18 episodes, our next chapter 2 of American Jew.
Chapter
2. Write us, AmericanJewPodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think, what we need to talk about. If you think we should have somebody on the show, if you want to be on the show.
You can send us some audio clips of yourself being kind of Jewy. We'll put that in.
Maybe we'll mix it together. We'll make another, Jewish intro page.
We talk about the scripture and stuff and the Torah portions a lot, but I think I like talking about my own experience as an American Jew. I think, what's the difference between just being an American versus being a Jewish person in America? Having a bar mitzvah at an age when you're just to memorize that stuff, and then I haven't really read any Hebrew since then. I don't really go to temple.
I don't go to temple. I think we both like to participate in some of the traditions because, they're part of us. I know we both, I particularly love the different foods, the eating. I'm, a big fan of, the Jewish style foods. And, being an American Jew today is a little more relevant because anti-Semitism is so prevalent and it's going on so much. And we are a people that have constantly been oppressed, have constantly been hated, constantly been, wanted to be the scapegoat for reasons unbeknownst to me. We're not that bad. Don't listen to what any of my shiksa ex-girlfriends say.
Well, as they say, you should always leave them wanting more, right? I feel like we're at the crux here where people are listening like, oh, I hope there's more.
Oh, that's when we're ending it as soon as people want their more.
Right, I feel like
tell us more about more anti-Semites. Well, we talked about Ford, one of the biggest anti-Semites of all time. I'm glad Volkswagen is trying to make a difference with the Anti-Defamation League. And,
I hope we start using the word Farfignugan more often because that was always fun.
You just like saying the word Farfignugan.
I love it.
Really?
You don't like saying it?
Not particularly. Why don't you? I think you need to embrace some Yiddish words that are just as fun.
Yeah, well, Yiddish is obviously a lot more fun. Yiddish is like the funniest language that there is. And
it's a lot better than Farfignugan.
And if you think differently, don't be such a putz. Huh?
A schmuck. Don't be a schmuck either.
Don't be a schmuck either, yeah.
Don't be a schmuck or a putz. If you know the difference between putz and schmuck, let us know, too. And thanks for listening. We appreciate it, and we hope that you will stay with us for our next chapter of American Jew.
I'm getting verklempt.